Welcome to AITS Podcast on AI Security. Hope you will enjoy the knowledge shared and gain value from the session. Happy learning.
Okay, so you want to know what self-driving cars and personalized music suggestions on Spotify have in common?
Let me guess.
They both use AI, but more importantly, they're both vulnerable to hackers.
Right. AI security. That's a big one these days.
It is, and that's what this deep dive is all about. We're not talking about some, distant sci-fi future. This is about your data today.
It's easy to get swept up in all the hype around AI, all the breakthroughs.
For sure.
But we got to remember the security risks, especially now that, AI is everywhere, right?
Absolutely. We've got research papers, case studies, even excerpts from an AI security course we're going to be looking at.
Wow. Right.
But before we get into the nuts and bolts of these attacks, like how they actually work, let's back up a bit. Why is AI security such a hot topic right now? What makes this different from just regular cybersecurity?
Well, I think a big part of it is the speed of development.
Right.
We're seeing AI being used in everything, finance, healthcare, and we're not always securing it properly at the same pace.
Is outpacing our ability, yeah.
Exactly. Plus, AI, it's not like traditional software. It has unique vulnerabilities, you know?
You're right. It's not just lines of code you can fix. It's about understanding how these complex algorithms can be tricked and manipulated.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about your data.
Okay.
What makes it so central to all of this?
Well, AI systems, they learn from data, right? Massive data sets. And that data, that's your financial history, your online activity, even your medical record.
It's everything.
Everything. It's the lifeblood of AI, but it also makes it a huge target for hackers.
It's almost ironic. We're trying to build smarter systems, but that same data could be their downfall.
Exactly. And the more sensitive the data, the higher the stakes. Think about loan applications.
Oh, yeah.
AI is making more and more of those decisions. If that AI is trained on bad data, biased data, manipulated data,
It has real-world consequences.
huge consequences, unfair outcomes,
Yeah.
discrimination, it's a big deal.
So we're not just talking about protecting information, but also ensuring things are fair, preventing actual harm.
Exactly. And it's not just individuals who are at risk. Imagine a self-driving car, right?
Right.
If the AI in that car is compromised, we're talking about life or death.
Yeah. Okay, this is definitely giving me some things to think about. It's so much bigger than just a data breach. We're talking about potentially controlling outcomes, influencing decisions, even controlling machines in the real world.
That's right. And that's what makes this less science fiction and more like a clear and present danger.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's break down some of these specific threats. I know you mentioned something called adversarial attacks earlier, and to be honest, that sounds a little intimidating.
Well, yeah, the name's pretty accurate.
Okay.
Think about it like this. A hacker wants to trick a self-driving car.
Okay.
They want to make it misinterpret a stop sign,
Right.
but they don't need to hack the car's system directly.
So how do they do it?
They exploit the way the AI sees, the way it interprets visual information.
So instead of rewriting the code, they're manipulating the input.
Exactly. By making subtle changes to an image, almost invisible changes, they can fool the AI into seeing something that isn't there.
So it's like an optical illusion,
Yeah.
but for a machine.
Exactly. And because AI models are so complex, so adaptive, these attacks are hard to defend against.
So these adversarial attacks, it's not brute force. It's about exploiting how AI understands the world around it.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've got these attacks that essentially trick AI into seeing things incorrectly, but you also mentioned data poisoning before. What is that exactly, and how does it tie into the risks we're talking about?
Data poisoning, that goes after the core of how AI learns.
The data itself.
Yeah. Remember, these AI models, they're trained on huge amounts of data.
Right.
And if you manipulate that data, even subtly.
The AI learns the wrong things.
Exactly. And you can influence its behavior in very specific ways. It's scary how precise it can be.
So it's like instead of attacking the AI directly, you're poisoning the well, hoping it'll drink from it later.
That's a great way to put it. Imagine a bank using AI to decide who gets a loan.
Okay, yeah.
A hacker could sneak in biased data.
Like what? Give me an example.
They could make it look like people from a certain area are less likely to repay.
And the AI would just learn that.
Yep. It's insidious because it's so subtle. These data changes are almost impossible to spot, especially as the models get more complex. It's not like someone breaking in.
Yeah.
It's more like slow poisoning.
We talked about those adversarial examples before, those weird images.
Right.
Could data poisoning make those attacks even more effective?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine training a self-driving car's AI on poisoned data, right? Messing with how it recognizes traffic signs.
Oh, no.
Even a tiny change during the training could mean that car blows through stop signs later, make it super vulnerable to those image attacks we talked about.
So the attacks can be combined.
Exactly. That's what makes AI security so tough. It's not one vulnerability. It's this web of them. They all play together. You gotta understand how they can be combined, how hackers chain them together.
It's a moving target. As AI gets more advanced, hackers will find new ways to exploit it.
It's true. It's a constant arms race. But it's not all doom and gloom. By understanding the threats, how these attacks actually work, we can build better defenses.
That's good to hear. Speaking of defenses, we haven't touched on model theft.
Oh, right.
So far, we've got tricking the AI, poisoning its data. But model theft, that's different, right?
Totally different beast. This is about stealing the AI itself.
Whoa. So not just messing with it, but taking the whole thing.
Exactly. These AI models, they cost companies a fortune to develop. Stealing one, that's gold to a hacker. Maybe even more valuable than customer data.
But how do you steal something like that? It's not like downloading a file, right?
No, it's way more complicated. Hackers exploit vulnerabilities in, like, the systems where these models are made, cloud computing platforms, that kind of thing.
So they get into the AI's home turf.
Right. Sometimes they really can just download the whole model. But there are other ways, too.
Like what?
Like, they can copy the model just by interacting with it.
Wait, really?
It's like reverse engineering. They watch how the AI responds, feed it different things.
And that's enough to copy it?
For a skilled hacker, yeah.
Yeah.
They piece it together without ever seeing the actual code.
That is both amazing and terrifying at the same time.
It is. It's like planting a double agent, but the double agent is an AI.
And then that stolen AI, it could be used for anything, really.
Anything. Sabotage the original company, get an edge over competitors, even attack other AIs. The possibilities are endless.
Okay, so much to take in. We've covered attacks that trick the AI, poison its learning, and even steal the AI entirely.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But like I said, every threat is a chance to get better to improve our defenses.
So how do we do that? How do we protect ourselves and our data in this world where AI is getting more powerful every day? So we've uncovered some, pretty unsettling stuff about AI.
Yeah, there are definitely some risks.
Tricking self-driving cars, hijacking loan approvals, makes you want to just chuck your phone in the ocean and live off the grid.
I get it, but realistically, that's not an option for most of us.
Not really, no. So what do we do? How do we protect ourselves in a world where AI is everywhere?
It starts with understanding. The more you know about AI, the risks, the better prepared you'll be.
Okay, so what should people actually do?
Read those privacy policies. Ask companies how they're using your data to train their AIs. And if a service seems too good to be true, like making predictions out of thin air.
Be suspicious.
Exactly.
It's like anything else online, being informed is key. But what about the bigger picture, Regulations, laws, can those help?
Definitely. We're already seeing new laws focused on AI, like the EU's AI Act.
I think I read about that.
It ranks AI systems based on risk. Requires companies to be transparent, have human oversight. It's a start.
So holding companies accountable for how they develop AI, making sure it's ethical, responsible.
Exactly. And it's not just about governments. There's a growing movement within the AI community itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to prioritize security, build more robust systems from the ground up. It's encouraging.
That is good news. It sounds like we're moving in the right direction.
We are, but there's still a long way to go for sure.
Well, as we wrap up our AI security deep dive, what's the one thing you want listeners to remember?
AI is powerful. It's going to change the world, but we can't ignore the risks. Stay informed, ask questions, and support those who are building AI responsibly.
Love it. Be informed, be engaged, and maybe a little skeptical. Great advice.
Yeah.
That's it for this deep dive, but the conversation doesn't end here. For those who want to learn more, look up the MITRE ATLS framework. It's got a ton of information about AI threats and defenses. Until next time, stay curious.
Thank you for listening to this episode of AITS Podcast on AI Security. If you would like to learn more or would like to have a session for your team, please drop us an email on training@alisad.cloud. Learn more about us on our website, alisad.cloud, that is ALASAD, CLOUD.